Today we're going into the Garden Tomb, also known as the Protestants' Tomb, because Protestants don't have any stake at the Holy Sepulchre Church. So this is an alternative burial place for Jesus, as well as Golgotha crucifixion place. I'm looking forward to this one because it's not inside a big church, and it should feel a little bit more like it would have felt when it actually happened. So we'll see what this one's like.
The
To the Garden Tomb.
The Protestant Garden Tomb?
It was an easy answer. It was right on the side, on the sign. Where are we going? To the Garden Tomb.
The Garden Tomb.
This is an old picture of the skull rock. And here it is right now. You see the two eye spots, nose in the middle. So this is another possible spot for the crucifixion. It checks the boxes of being outside the city, being near a major highway, and it sure looks like a skull, sort of.
Sort of. Yeah, it's a little bit bold. Yeah.
Golgotha in Aramaic means the skull, and also we get our word Calvary in Latin from this word translated into Latin. Calvary. They found a vineyard or a wine press here that shows us what a vineyard, which fits with this being called a garden in the Bible.
Thousands of tombs in this area, because we're outside the city walls, and that's where they buried everybody. Just on the other side of this wall, there's another 35 tombs right over there. If you look at the top right of the door, you'll see a small window. And that window is there because many of the Jewish people, according to a Jewish oral tradition, many of the Jewish people believed that when you died, your soul actually didn't leave your body until after the third day. Okay? And if the tomb was sealed, like with a big round stone, then the window would be the way that the soul would escape to get out, to get to heaven. And
Am I ready? We have to wait for someone to come out first.
You gotta get some good Easter pictures. This is the one you post every year for Easter. Yep, he's not here. He's visiting you. So here's your...
Here we go. Yeah. Into the tomb.
Will your flash go off or not?
No.
And you're okay with that?
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Okay. Okay, so you're just a big shadow, are you aware?
Okay, how's that?
Okay. 1, 2, 3. I changed the lighting a little bit, so you can make yourself out now.
Okay, gang, for those of you that have already taken pictures, let's go.
Also a giant cistern under here. 250 million gallons or something.
Forever let your church go away. Christ is risen from the dead, standing over death by death. Come away, come away, come and rise up from the grave. Christ is risen from the dead, we are one with him again. Come away, come away, come and rise up from the grave.
A sheep and a shepherd coming down.
Grab a seat. Grab a seat. Later on, you're going to be speaking to your son.
Sounds like what?
Where do you...
We're here on the top, basically the pinnacle of the Mount of Olives, and this is where Jesus gathered his disciples. This is actually the only appearance that he announced that he would be here for, and he gathered his disciples here and he ascended into heaven. We think that the Great Commission actually happened on Mount Arbel, because it's around Galilee, but this is where he ascended and he went up and he left. And he promised to be with us always. He promised that the Holy Spirit would come and give us power. And he told us he's going to make a place for us. And most importantly, he told us he's coming back. And you know, the disciples were standing here looking up, and the angels told them, "What are you doing looking up?" And then they went back to Jerusalem and waited for the Holy Spirit, like Jesus told them to. But also, this is the spot where he's going to come back. And this is the spot of his return. Old Testament prophecy, Zechariah even tells us this is where he's coming back. Mount of Olives, right here. So now would be a great time, because I'd have front row seats. But this is the spot. Jessica's really excited about the green grass. She hasn't seen any in a long time.
I'm pretty sure that's forbidden.
You're covered in it now.
No, you're ceremonially unclean.
Yeah, you're right.
You're ceremonially unclean now.
Oh, God.
Up there, just a few days ago, waiting in line to go to the Temple Mount. And what we're down in now has all been excavated. That was the normal level of earth, and they had to dig all the way down to here to find all of this. Lots of digging.
And it's on your left hand side. Can you see that? And you can see the writing too. The piece of the stone with the writing is a replica. The original one is in the museum, you can guess. So this is the place just on the top of this corner. This is the original location of this cornerstone, and that's what we call cornerstone in architecture. This is probably the source of the metaphor that Jesus spoke many times. That's a very important stone. That's from where they used.
This is an ancient street, well, first century street that went from the Pool of Siloam all the way up to the Antonia Fortress along the Temple Mount. The upper bricks are later, because they were destroyed. They were done by the church. The lower massive bricks were from Herodian times, first century times, first century BC too, when Herod built this Temple Mount. And then all these bricks pushed off used to be up there, and evidence of the Roman destruction of the temple and the Temple Mount in 70 AD. Now we're going to go see a mikvah, a Jewish cleansing ritual bath that they would have had before they went into the temple. Here we go, into the mikvah.
Ryan's going into the ritual bath. You enter on the right and you are dirty, and you will go down and rinse off in the waters, and then he will come out on the opposite side and he will be clean. Now he needs to be careful not to touch anything that's unclean on his way to the temple to make his sacrifice with the high priest. Normally he would be undressed, but for this occasion we decided to have him keep his clothes on.
Oh, there's no water.
And there's no water. Now this is the view you'd see coming out of the mikveh. You would see the temple.
Well, that used to be a giant arch right here.
Yeah, this is an arch.
Over the road.
And over here is the steps.
Steps to go up into the temple.
Yep.
Over top of this arch would be another entrance straight from here. And I'd have to buy my clean animal, pay my half shekel tax, and make a sacrifice.
So just give me the thumbs up. Could you imagine this being a merchant's spot? There's multiple, and I could be selling the ceremonial clean animals. Ceremonial. I don't know that works.
You'd have to get 2 doves as a mother.
Yeah, I'm good. You have to get
I have to get a goat.
Oh, that poor goat.
Walking on this old road. Jesus walked on this road.
Your lines for plumb and all your dimensions.
So they told us this was a cornerstone,
Could be a
but
capstone.
you kind of think it might be a capstone.
what? That might be.
I remember reading that passage. I forget where, but it talked about the cornerstone, the capstone, the rock, the builder's wreath. It was just like it was beautiful to see like 4 different versions of
This
this
is
rock.
Psalm 118 talks about Ezekiel 28, and there are 7 places.
At the southern wall of the Temple Mount, headed towards the southern steps to see the site of the Pentecost. And here are the southern steps to the temple. Some of these steps are ancient, even bedrock steps. And then some up here have been remade. But there's a cool thing to see is the rhythm. Step, big step, little step, big step. And it was intentional to cause the people, the worshipers coming up to the temple to pause. And even some of the psalms of ascent that they would sing as they came to the temple had this rhythm. Big little step, pause, step, big step, pause. Pretty cool. But from here, the gospel went out to the nations. The Holy Spirit came on the disciples. They preached the good news. 3,000 people were saved and baptized. We have all these mikvahs all around where people could have been baptized. And the gospel went out from Jerusalem to Judea, Samaria, and to the ends of the earth. And we are all products of this. People all around the world have had their life changed by the gospel, by the life of Jesus Christ. And He continues to live, and He gave us His Holy Spirit. It's amazing. It all started here. Thanks for joining me on this amazing adventure. I'm going to sign out now. It's been glorious. Can't wait to get home and share all this with everyone.